Hi guys, how are you doing? Today we're going to weather up this Burlington Northern caboose. Rather nice actually, by Athen. Pretty old, I think it's a few years old, but somebody gave it to me to actually weather up. So that's what we're going to do. Now this is all about quick and easy. So, you know, when you've got a railroad, a model railway or model railroad, you don't want to take all day weathering up these things, and you certainly don't want to spend too much money doing it, I'm sure. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to weather the wheels and the trucks. See there, they're all shiny. Especially those trucks, they really are poor. But then they've been the same for years and years and years. And we're going to use some basic tools. Basic tools that you can just go down to your local hobby shop or craft store and just buy with a few dollars, and they last for ages and ages and ages, and you use them over and over again. We don't use an airbrush because that's expensive, and also takes skill to actually use an airbrush, and then you have to buy a compressor and all the other bits and bobs. We're just going to use basic tools. So first of all, we're going to take the trucks off. There's a screw at the bottom, and we'll get that done right now. So there we are, we've got the trucks off, as you can see. They're quite alright actually. That's upside down, but never mind. But they're very shiny. These basic, but we take the wheels off. They're very easy to come off these days. He says. Then he struggles. Okay. And there's the wheels. These days, of course, they use steel wheels, which is fantastic, instead of those horrible plastic ones. They still have plastic axles. Now, what I'm going to use are some paint pens. Paint pens. If you look at the nib, the paint just comes through that nib there, and it's proper paint, so it's proper, I think it's acrylic paint, and I've got two brown paint pens. You can get these in any hobby store. I've got one light brown and one slightly darker. I did have more, but they've dried up, so you've got to shake these up just to mix up the paint. There we go. So, which is the light, which is the dark? I think, I can't remember now. Doesn't matter. Not really. So, to test them, just push down on the piece of paper and paint comes out. Is that a light or a dark? I think that's a light one anyway. So you grab a wheel, and if I can get this close enough and still look through the viewfinder. Now with this one, if you look there, it has a very, very, very thick nib, and I had to cut that down with a knife. You can get thinner nibs, but I just accidentally bought this one. And you simply roll it round there, like that. And now, when it's wet like that, it looks, oh my god, that's so brown. But it dries off. And you can add things to it, so you can add powders to it. There we go, we'll just get all these done, and that's all you do. You can add different colours. If you've got a black or grey, really, really dark grey paint pen, you can use that as well, because obviously wheels aren't always rusty. Well, they're a little bit, of course, but most of them are a little bit rusty, but not all of them are as rusty as the one we're going to do. Because this is a caboose that's been out of action for a very, very long time. And there you go. And just make sure you haven't got any paint actually on the wheel part itself, because that will spoil things a bit. Let's see, I think we've done them all. So that'll dry. Whilst that's drying, we're going to take the other brown paint pen So we use this one instead. This is a slightly darker brown. Oops, I need a shake, I think. Ooh, it's not coming out. It was running out a little bit, so... See, I do these videos, I'm always prepared. Not. Alright. Well, I hope it comes out. Ah. Yep, that one has definitely dried up. Well, it has been, what, 3-4 years since I bought it. I mean, that's a great thing about these things, they do last a long time. So we're going to have to use the lighter brown, which we know works. And what we're going to do is grab the truck. Can you see that? Hope it's in. Let's do that. I don't know if it focuses. There we go. That's as good as it's going to get, I think. And we're going to... Oh, it's a bit too brown in my view, but we really need a darker brown, but there's always ways around it. Now it's not going to get into all the crevices because this is quite a thick nib. Can you see that? Let's see. And whee. And that's all it does, really. Do the top. You can do all over if you want to, but I tend to just do the outer parts. Let's see if I can see that. Probably doesn't really look that great. Doesn't look like that great now. Let's see later. So we're going to have to do something to bring this brown down because it shouldn't be quite this rusty. But I hope it's in frame. So we'll cut here. I'll do the other ones, and I'll be back in a second. Okay. Okay. So they're done. They just need drying. It doesn't take long to dry. That's a good thing about these pens. Shame the other one ran out of ink, but no, never mind, all paint. So what's next? Let's have a look at those wheels. Here we go. So, is that too close? It's okay, but what we're going to do, is that dried? More or less. Is that we're going to use some of this. This is a Tamiya panel line accent colour. And essentially in modelling, especially with plastic kits and things, you put this into the panel lines on an airplane or a car or anything actually, and it darkens those panel lines, so it sort of brings out the panel shapes and adds a bit of depth to it. So what we're going to do is just give this a shake. Again, you can buy this from hobby shops and craft stores and stuff like that, and it lasts again for absolutely ages. I've had this for what, 3-4 years, and you open up and it's like an ink. So we're going to add this to this. This is dry. There we go. If we can find the lens, there we go. I'm just going to, because obviously it's too, I'm just going to, and it's sort of very, very thin ink. Put that in there. So really we're making it darker again. Whoa, that's a big job. A big blodge just went on there. There you go. And I get this one. So you can use these on the actual models themselves actually, if you've got panel lines. And as a bottle of this, what it costs about in dollars, I'm not actually sure, but it's not huge. I tend to use too much though. There we go. That'll do. And what we're going to do, I've knocked that over before, is take a earbud or a Q-tip or whatever you call it, and we're just going to take some of that off. Yeah, it's all about taking it off, man. You put on, it's like weathering with powders, you put so much on, but you end up taking it all off again. You see it's coming off. There's the other one. And revealing the brown underneath, but it leaves, it gives you a sort of a 3D effect, and more of a depth, effect, and also it brings down that very light brown colour. So actually it hasn't dried yet, so but let's have a look. Just put those there, try and get it to focus relatively well. Come on. Is that focusing? You see it's sort of grimy rather than just brown. So that we'll leave those to dry. And these are the wheels again. They're not too bad actually, but they're still drying, are they? Looks like they're dried. We got these. These are more Tamiya stuff. Yeah, I'm not sponsored by Tamiya. Actually, Tamiya, could you sponsor me, please? That'd be great. And these are compacts. Well, ladies' compacts. They're not really. They're for modelling, obviously, and so you got these colours, and they're just like powders, but they're hard powders. They tap 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 tap. And you've got these applicators, which always sort of you tend to have to buy your own, but you can buy these from drug stores and chemists and things. All they are sponge applicators, and that's all. And you've got silver, and this is gun metal, which you can use for all sorts of things. So, and we've got this very, very light brown, and on the other one we have more of a darker muddy brown, which is the one we're going to use. And we've also got I think this is grime supposedly, and white, which you can use for highlights and things. So we're just going to grab a bit of this and so you don't get much on there, don't need much on there actually, and we're just going to put that into there like that, and just give it a little bit of a it doesn't have to be all the way around. Where's the other one? There we go. And I'm also going to add a bit of that, just clean it off, onto the paper towel. Some of that very, very light bit, and just, oops, comes off, see? And take this, and we're just going to blotch it on, kind of like powders, like that. So if you look very carefully there, see that? Actually, I blow it off. Gives you a bit of a different, so it's not uniform brown, you know, and just put a little bit in. Doesn't need much. See, you've got a variation. And where's the other wheel? And do these. So I'll just get these done, and to show you one more. Just put a bit in there. Doesn't need much. And down. Oh, there you go. What about that? That looks alright, doesn't it? So I'll be back in a sec. So there we are. Oop, all painted up, and I've got a bit of spots of real bad rust in there as well. You can take some off if you get a clean Q-tip and take it off again and bring it down a bit. But I think that's actually good for what I need, and I think it looks great. And let's have a look at the trucks. They should be dry by now. Here we go. So darken them right down, and we're just going to highlight a few bits and bobs, mainly the middle part where it gets rather rusty. We're going to use the Tamiya effect again. I'll just put it right in the middle, and then a bit on there, like that. And we're going to take it off. Yeah, I should use a Q-tip, but I'm using my finger at the moment. And right in the middle, where the rust really gets in. There we are. Can you see it? It's a bit blurry as hell, that. Never mind. I'll get the other one. And what you can do, also you do some dry brushing as well if you want to. I'm not sure if any of you have done that before. If you haven't, I can always show you that. Just adds a bit of depth again, because these are so, I mean, usually in trucks, especially with box cars, you get in the middle there, you get the spring, the damper or whatever, suspension. That's a word for it. And there we go. So yeah, it looks okay. I wish the original paint pen hadn't dried up, but never mind. That's the way it goes. So there we are. Trucks are on, wheels are on. Now as time goes on, it's going to dry even more. It's going to get darker. Can you see that? Is it focus? A number of times I hear people on YouTube say the word focus. See, I keep moving it around. Sorry about that. Let's do that way. And that's it. That's all I'm going to do with that one. Different ways of doing it, obviously. You can use powders once you've got the paint on, because the powders will have something to hang on to. Anyway, so I'll take a few pictures. And that's it. Nice and short. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.